All right, so with the first couple days of sessions kind of out of the way, I wanted to kind of get a poll on people that I've seen and then different common questions that we've talked about, like from a coaching side, with using the Bridge app. So, what I'm going to do right now is walk through essentially a session and what that would look like from a Bridge app. Okay, so I have it on my iPhone right now. Again, like we've kind of said before, you have to use the app version. If you access Bridge from a desktop or Safari or Chrome, whatever, it looks very different. It will not look the same as this. So make sure you download Bridge Tracker. If you have any issues getting into it, I think most people have accepted their invitation. There's still a couple people that haven't, but we can resend those invitations. Once you're in, if you forget your password, you have to go through the forget your password thing on their end. Okay? So I'm in Bridge Tracker right now, and then we're going to go from here. So this is what it likely will look like when you open up the app for the first time, right? So up at the top right-hand corner, if you tap those little arrows, you'll see all the different teams that you're on. I have quite a few more options than many people do. So especially this testing one, which I'm using obviously to create this video here. So I'm just going to walk through what they are. So semi-private in-person is going to be your specific program. So if you were not following an individual training program at home during this time, you were just doing the classes, you didn't have anything individualized from us, this is where you'll start when you go back to the gym. Okay, so it'll be what you were working on prior to your program, your paper copy program, right, from the Excel sheets, will be in there. Okay, online training is all of our classes. So that's the class program. Everyone has access to that. Those won't be the workouts you do in the gym, but they're available for you. You can see if I click on it, here's all of our Unity at-home training, the 5-day classes that Jordan and I lead in the mornings. Okay, testing is irrelevant. No one's in it but me. Online training individual. So this is if you had an individual program with certain equipment at home, right? We're going to finish up these programs before we move into the semi-private in-person, like what you were doing from your paper sheet before. They were based and made very closely on what you were working on in the gym. So there's very similar things, but we're kind of using it as a transition phase. If you saw the blog post I wrote, we don't want to go back into the gym and hit it like 1,000%, right? We kind of have this reset transition, get used to the equipment. Final thing here is homework. So if you were assigned and there's a handful of people extra, like your back was bugging you, we assigned you some low back homework. If we assigned you extra stretching, right? That's all going to be in there. So there's a bunch of different ones, but the bottom line is when you come in for your session, we're either going to be a semi-private in-person or just during this transition period before we're fully back in the gym, the online training individual. And the coach will be able to help you with what team to choose, all right? So for me, for the sake of this video, I'm going to go testing because the other ones have my programs, and I specifically created a program to make this video. So this is what it'll look like when you open it up, right? It'll have the performance log at the top. We can click that at the start of each session. This allows us to track stress, sleep, nutrition, body weight, kind of like those little check marks that we used to have in the Excel sheets, right? So this gives us a cool thing, and then we can go in from the coach's side or from your desktop side and see a graph of it. So you can kind of see like, hey, my workouts when I have less sleep are bad, or hey, my hydration is trending down, like maybe I got to pay more attention to water. So that's kind of where that comes in. So that'll either ask you to fill it out when you open your workout, or you can just click on it, fill it out daily. Right below that is your program. All the programs are set up last name dot first name, right? And then if it's your home one, it'll just say home at the end of it. Again, we're kind of phasing out those home programs as we transition back into the gym, but during this time, we'll see a little bit of both of them. So if I click on that, you'll see here I only have 2 days, right, into my workout, but here's my phase 1. I have my 2 days here. If there was more days, they're just going to list right below, so it'll go day A and B. If you're on a 3-day program, A, B, C, and it'll just repeat. So you can select the next one from the list as you go. If there's more phases, right, again, this is just a sample workout. So if there's a phase 2, we can swipe over where it says phase 1, and it will bring us to phase 2, okay? So if all of your phase 1 workouts are completed, you're like, shoot, I don't have anything, make sure you swipe over. There's likely a phase 2 in there and waiting for you, all right? So I'm just going to select my next workout as day A. So here's my overview. This is what the coach looks at right now to see, okay, we need a dowel, a dumbbell, a kettlebell, a medicine ball, resistance band. It kind of gives us like an idea of what we need, and we can kind of scroll down and see. So again, I have a very short workout. It's just meant to be a sample, right? So this is kind of when we do gather our own equipment, we can kind of look and see, okay, I need all these things, kind of plan that. So if we need a cable machine, making sure we're near cables or something like that. Again, this is where the coach can do it right now and help choose your pods. So here's your overview. So from here, I'm going to press start down at the bottom. That's going to take me into my workout. Again, since I didn't fill out that performance log before, it's going to prompt me to do it here. If you ever are, say you're running a couple minutes late, you just got to go through. You can take over at the top and just swipe it over, right? So here's your ramp. It'll always say the section that you're on. So there's ramp, core, power, right? Resistance training, strength training, block 1, circuits, finisher, whatever it is, it'll tell you at the top. That date is really just for me. So as we go through, right, here's my entire ramp. I can just scroll down. There's about 9 exercises here. All right. If I tap on the name of the drill, it will bring me into that specific thing. This is where I can press play, and it'll play the video, right? If we need to X out, we're just closing out. But that'll play the video for me if I'm ever not sure of an exercise. We adjust the reps here. If there's a weight associated, which we'll get to in a moment, it will do that as well. If you have any exercise history, so if I've done this before, it will show up here, and I'll kind of talk about that later. You'll be able to see that in action. Any comments or notes we can put there as well. All right, and I'll again kind of talk about where to add those. So once I'm done with this, I can just press that gray check. It will turn yellow, and it swipes to my next thing in my ramp. So here we go. I do have a past history with this exercise. I've done it a lot. So here's all the times that I've done it. I've done it for reps. You can see that I've done it for time. I still have not left any comments on it, but it is here. So again, as I scroll, it kind of shows you can see all the notes coming across. So it's 1 rep, and it'll say each side underneath if applicable, right? All of our single arm, single leg stuff is noted in there. I can press the 1, and there's any notes. So it says start in shin box, progress to 90-90, maintain a braced core, and pull the belly button in. So there's just some notes from a coach's side if you don't want to watch the video, or if it's something more specific to you, it'll say different progressions within the set. So again, I just check through. No exercise history. We're here. Here. I'm just going to check through these because then we have that, right? Single leg balance. So now we're into core training. So you can see at the top, it did change. That single leg balance was the last one. If I go back, you'll see that I completed. You'll see that green check mark there. I completed my entire ramp, and I'm moving on to core. All right. You can check from here as well. So here I have 2 core exercises, right? And I have 2 plank sets and 1 dead bug set. So this is the equivalent of saying, like, for my set 1, that would be like 1A is my plank, 1B is my dead bug, and then 1A is my plank, and I don't repeat the dead bug again. Okay? So as I'm going in here, now there's this little timer down in the corner. Here, the timer down in the corner is there for timing rest. If we need to time our plank, we simply tap on the plank, we go to the timer, it should be set for 20 seconds already. We can press play, it'll count me down, and it will beep. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the beep since my phone's plugged in, but it'll essentially count me down, and it'll beep at the end. So if you need to time the exercise itself, it needs to be on this full screen here. Again, there's different progressions in here. Some of these, if they're written like this, they're going to be progressions, so the coach will decide, similar to how anything after an arrow was written on the Excel sheets, right? How we use that as a progression. This is going to be similar. The coach can go in and swap out the exercise, so perhaps a few weeks into your program, you'll then see this exercise come up instead of a plank, right? So we'll actually change that for you. So from here, I did my first set, check marks on both, and say I did my plank, and we're moving on to my power section. So whenever there's just 1 exercise here, that means I only do that one, rest in between. So again, if I tap that, it brings up that little timer there, and you can adjust the timer if you need to. Whoop. Well, we're going to do that in a second anyway. So again, progression are written in there. If we need to click the video, we can press that little triangle and it'll play the video. All right. So here you see 0 pounds. Obviously, we're not going to swing a 0 pound kettlebell. We don't own a 0 pound kettlebell. Be swinging nothing. So here's where we can track our weights. So we can just tap that 0, right? And say I use the blue kettlebell is 26 pounds. So I can either press done, right, in that yellow there, or on the left-hand side, say if I'm going to do all my sets with the 26, to prevent having to type it in multiple times, I can just hit apply to all, and it'll go 26 pounds down the line. Now, as we become more familiar with your programming and we kind of understand this program better, which I feel like I do, I don't want to speak for the other coaches and things like that, but with the amount of time I've spent on here, I feel like I'm kind of getting the hang of it. So once we start to see people more in person, these might already be filled in. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like. We can say, oh, let's start with 105. Or I'll use Lois as an example. I was working with Lois yesterday on deadlifts, and we got up to 105. So then what I already did is went into her program for next week and put the first set at 105. So I know, hey, we did 105 last time. This is also where the history comes in, and we can see any past history. This is a bad example. There's no history. With the comments, and we can see what you've done before, so we can see what we'll start with. Okay? So here's into our priority strength. There are a couple different sets here, and I'm going to kind of talk through each one. So again, we have set 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks here. 3 exercises in each little circuit. The rest is always written underneath, so there's no rest after the deadlift, 0 rest after those bent over rows, and then 30 seconds, and then we're back. So there's the deadlift. That one has 60 seconds rest, and then going from there. Okay, so again, to open up each exercise, 61 pounds, right? It's already written in there. So I just, again, chose an arbitrary weight. That would be an orange kettlebell, I believe, is the 61 pounds. So I did the deadlift. There's a little gray arrow on top of it. You can check them off as you go. Same deal. We can adjust. Say I did like 30s here. Say I only got 10, right? We can adjust the reps as well. So you can adjust, and it'll say then in your history, 30 for 10, 30 for 12. So that's where if we're working with a rep range, that's where we're going to want to use that more so. All right, check that. Check the 3-way. Again, 4 reps each side. This is a 3-way thing, so you'll hit all of those sides. Coming down here, again, just working more. Similar, you can plug this in. Again, that same thing applies. Say I did 30 to all. It'll just apply them all down the line. Okay, so we're here. Is that it? No. So say at the end of the set, right, I can just come up. It'll check all the ones in that set. I did them all. Down here is some of our tracked sets. So kettlebell deadlift, if I press on this, we're going to do reps, right? Enter reps performed for 0 pounds. So I'm going to do max reps. So this is where testing out comes in. You won't see it too much here. Say I use that 61 pounds and say I got 15, right? But it will require you to type something in that red box. That's where we can go back and then see what you lifted over time. It will also give you, oh, I think you guys can see it. I just can't see it because the play thing is on my screen. But underneath, it'll say like your percent 1 rep max attempt would be 87. So if you lifted 61 for 12, you would hypothetically be able to lift 87 for 1, right? So that's kind of neat, where we used to have to calculate all that out for you. The app will actually do this for you. Down here then, we're going to do max for 12. So say I did maximum effort with proper form. This is where we would have like the 1 rep max, like if we're going for PR attempt, right? This is where we would be. Say we did 12 reps with the, let's go 87 for, well, let's go 61 for 12. Let's say if I did it the other way, right? I'm just going to hypothetically put 70. Done. And again, it will require you, once you tap out of that, it will require you to add that in, all right? You won't see too much of those, but I did want to just note it. So I'm going to check as if I did those, and then going from there. So moving down into here, here's my Imam Block or my finisher for each one. So I'm going to adjust. Again, there will be a weight there, hypothetically, if we need to. If you want to add, say we have, obviously the medicine balls are also colors, right? So we can go down here, tap the comment, and we can add any color. So say I use the gray ball, right? We can post that up. So if there's a resistance band exercise or something like that, that's probably more applicable for this. But again, since I have the medicine ball here, then I can use that, right? So 10 reps as I get into it. I'm going to press through set 1 of 1, 10 reps, right? And then we'll go through. So every minute on the minute for those ones. Now, as I get through, I'm going to resume here, get all the way to the end. Sorry, I'm just back to where I was. So I just finished my finisher. It brings me to my post-workout survey. Obviously, it took me 9 minutes roughly to go through it. Yours will be much longer. Here we can just say, hey, how hard was this workout? So say it was pretty hard on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is like I couldn't have worked any harder, you know? So we'll put this one probably pretty moderate here and submit that. And there we go. It will bring up this here. So this actually takes all my workouts, so from other days and things like that. But this is very light, obviously, compared to everything else. So it'll give me a high. This is their rate of perceived exertion times duration. So how hard you worked over a certain amount of time. So this is kind of, it basically equivalates, that's not the right word. It compares workouts so that you're able to compare them over completely different workouts. So it'll just take those two things and then it'll show you a graph. Ideally, this will vary throughout the week, right? We don't always want to be working to max intensity. So if we just X that out at the top, it takes us back. There's been quite a few questions on the load and the sets, right? Some of these, like sets, if I had a finisher plugged in, first week we don't do a finisher, right? It'll be less than 100%. For the load, right now, since it says 0 pounds in all your weight, anytime you add weight is going to add over that 0 pounds. So that'll be likely much higher than the percents, at least as we start, until we get in some more accurate numbers with correct equipment and everything like that. You're working to your full potential in the gym, as opposed to adjusting for tempo and things like that at home, right? We just haven't had the numbers inputted into Bridge. But if we were to take like your Excel sheets and manually enter all the weights for all the weeks over the course of a year, we're going to see that move closer to about 100%. Or if we didn't do the full workout right, it might be a little bit less and things like that. So from there, we can just review it if you want to see what you did. Again, that's where my load is way over what was programmed. I did all my sets. We can open it up. We can see everything there. All right. So that's kind of how to go through a session within Bridge. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I'll be able to help you out, right? Or someone will be able to help you out. And then the next time you go into your workout, you'll just see, hey, I did this day A, and you'll know day B is up next. So that's kind of how you know what workout's on deck and where you can review that workout then before. So you can tab through the workout, watch all the videos, see everything ahead of time. And then when you get in the gym, we're just rocking and rolling. All right. So again, any questions, leave them below. I got to hop off here. I know my time says 9:41. It's not. It's like 9:28, and I got to teach some yoga. So I'll catch you guys in the video. I'll probably post this after the yoga. But thank you for taking the time to watch through, and I will see you guys in the gym. Bye.